Hello everyone, today we would like to talk about how the Russian Empire carried out the colonization of Kazakhstan in the 18th century. The importance of understanding this historical event lies in its role in shaping the modern geopolitical map and cultural heritage of the region, as well as understanding the methods and strategies used by the Russian Empire helps to understand the complex relationship between different ethnic groups. During the 18th century, the Kazakh Jews had already adopted nominal Russian citizenship, but it would take a long time to more fully integrate them into the Russian Empire.
So now, let's consider statement 1, weakness of Kazakh leaders. The first evidence is fighting among leaders and the consequences. In the Kazakhstan history, there haven't been many strong leaders. Instead, different groups have often fought over who should be in charge. These fights have made it easier for other powers like Russian Empire to take control. As a result, Kazakhstan's future has been shaped a lot by what happened beyond its borders. The second one, Russian Empire's interference in the initiation of Khans. After the death of Abu Khair Khan, Yerali Sultan and Aysha Sultan had to sit on the throne, but by the will of the Russian Empire, it was ordered to put the young and inexperienced Nurali Khan on the throne. This fact is the proof of superiority of Russian Empire over the small Jews. The third one is Russian imperial influence in the 19th century Kazakhstan, control and collaboration. In the 1730 and the 1740, the Russian Empire granted formal citizenship to the Kazakhstan Khans, leading to increased control by Russian authorities based on Orenburg, Tobolsk, and later Omsk, over the Khans and the people of the younger and the middle Jews. During the 18th century, Russian interests in the steppe primarily revolved around border settlement and trade. Consequently, Russian officials were willing to support Kazakh leaders aligned with Russian interests. And the fourth evidence, Russian imperial tactic in Kazakhstan, exploiting division for domination. One aspect closely related to the interference of the Russian Empire in the Kazakh politics is the concept of divide and rule. This strategy was frequently employed by the imperial powers throughout the history to maintain control over diverse regions or populations. In the case of Kazakhstan, the Russian Empire capitalized on international divisions and power struggles among Kazakh leaders to assert its dominance.
Statement 2. Russian colonization strategies. Building forts. In the 18th century, the Russian Empire actively expanded its borders to the south, and Kazakhstan became one of the key areas of this expansion. Construction of fortresses, Yamushovskaya, Zhelezinskaya, Semipalatinsk, Uсть-Kamenogorsk, and Bukhtarma fortresses are not just outposts. These are strong points that protect against Hungarian expansion and strengthen Russia's influence in the region, supporting the fight against enemies. Russia not only builds fortresses but also helps the Kazakhs to resist the Hungarian and Qing China. Trade and influence. Fortresses become center of the trade, where Kazakhs can profitably sell cattle and other goods. The influence of Russian culture. Simultaneously with the Goths, the influence of Russia is spreading language, culture, and religion. The price of security. Defensive fortresses designed to protect Kazakh lands from enemy were turned into instruments of colonization, limiting the freedom of Kazakhs and pushing them to the assimilation. O.A.Igelstrom reform. The Russian Empire created a plan to seize Kazakh lands and later called them reforms. The first reform was O.A.Igelstrom, whose goal was to destroy the Khaganate system in the Kazakh lands since the early 19th of the 17th century. The movement acquires the character of an uprising. In his report addressed to Catherine II, Serim pointed out that the Ataman of the Ural Cossacks. In response, the Kazakhs began to attack certain sections of the Ural line. The new head of the Orenburg administration, Pyutlin, began to act decisively, constantly sending detachments to the steppe to punish the rebels, thereby strengthening the colonial policy. In such an environment, the elders demanded that the Thrace government remove Khan Nurali from the power and build the management of the younger Jews according to the basic system developed by the Orenburg governor O.A.Igelstrom. Its essence was that management of the junior Jews was to be carried out by the border court in Orenburg. The Jews was divided into three parts: Alimuli, Bayuli, Cheteru, where the main reprisals against juridical functions were established, headed by chairmen, two assessors from the noble elders.
Back in the 19th century, Russia took over Kazakhstan in a big way. This had a huge impact on how things are today. Because Kazakh leaders were weak and Russia got involved in their fights, it was easy for Russia to expand its control. They built forts and made changes to how things were run, which messed up the old Kazakh ways. Understanding all this helps us see why different groups in Kazakhstan have such complicated relationships today.